Hello and welcome to Soul Family Chat. I'm Guy, your host, and Soul Family Chat is where we envision new possibilities for a new earth. And today I wanted to talk about regret and comparing our lives with other people's lives. I woke up one morning and I think I was triggered by a photographer that I was looking into from a YouTube video I'd watched, and I was looking at this very inspiring photographer, and at some point she got a scholarship and went to documentary photography school. And I thought that was really inspiring, and I'm a really keen photographer. I guess I'm a hobbyist or an amateur, and I think, wow, I really would have loved to do a really creative sort of vocational degree study when I was younger, so I could have really honed my skills and become really expert in one thing. In fact, actually, when I was doing my bachelor's degree in Canada at the University of Quebec in the 1980s, I did do 1 year. It was a minor study in cinematography, and actually it was the most fun I had actually in formal education. I generally don't like formal education, but I did enjoy the cinematography. It was called Les Études Cinématographiques, cinema studies, and that was really great. So anyway, these ideas started to bounce around in my head, sort of regret about, I guess, not having the training. I really, like in some of these artistic areas that I like to express myself, that I never really took the time or the focus to really become expert and really take it to the next level. So I started to reflect back on those years and when I was making choices, and I realized actually I did make the choices that I absolutely most wanted to do at the time, and I did what I really wanted to do. And I actually, at that time, I lived the dream. For me, what I thought was my dream. I went and lived my dream. And looking back on it, that was absolutely amazing. And I realized that I don't have any regret about that. And even though that dream only lasted for a certain amount of time before I realized I had another dream and I wanted to do something else, looking back, I realized that was the highest sort of action that I could have taken for fulfilling my purpose at the time. And what it was is I think in around 1986, 87, I moved to Fairfield, Iowa, which is the home of Maharishi International University, and I started participating in some long retreat meditations there. My father had actually died in 1985, and this path was what really interested me the most, and it's what I felt I most needed for healing, for self-discovery, all of that. And I was at Maharishi International University, and I was doing these very long meditation retreats for a long time. And then I started to work for the university and take a master's degree there. And it's that time I became more aware of this aspect within Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's sort of meditation movement of a thing called Purusha, which was sort of like a program or path for monks. It was like a monk-like path where you would go and sort of live in an ashram and just meditate for a long time, and you'd sort of be in service to the guru and all of that. And I'd met some of the people that had been doing this, and I was really impressed with them. And different speakers came to speak to us at the university, and one particular speaker came and said, "This is the highest thing that you could do in your life, is go and do this path." And I was super inspired by it, and I actualized that. I applied to join the Purusha program, and I was accepted, and I went off to Canada, and I lived in this amazing ashram in Canada. It was really just an old, sort of one of those sort of 1950s resort hotels that had been purchased and turned into a meditation retreat. And it was on a beautiful lake in Ontario, north of Toronto, where many of the successful people in Toronto now have their summer homes, their summer cottages. And it was just a completely different life. Spent many hours there meditating, and many hours just listening to knowledge tapes from the Vedic studies, the Vedic science. And many aspects of it were wonderful, but I did give up many things to do that because it was very much out of the mainstream world. And those years, I don't even remember any popular culture from that time, movies, music. It was all sort of out the window as I went on this sort of inward stroke of meditation. But it was an amazing place, being in the forest there on the lake. I was truly fortunate to do that. Eventually I transferred to England and did the same thing in England. I lived in this amazing ancestral home in England. It was like a former Rothschild's house. So I know what it's like to live in a billionaire's house, and this place was absolutely amazing. I think Americans would consider it to be a castle. It's not strictly speaking a castle. And there, I was one of the founding members of the Natural Law Party. It was a political party that was inspired by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And quite honestly, that was one of the most mind-blowing, remarkable experiences of my life, as we all pulled together to create a political party in very short notice and ran candidates all over the UK. And eventually I would go to Canada and do the same thing with the Natural Law Party in Canada. And anyway, all these years I spent doing this Purusha thing, which was just being in an ashram with single men, just focused on meditation and focused on higher knowledge and serving whatever the teacher guru wanted in terms of projects to be implemented. It was, I just don't have any regrets about it. And I feel it shaped every single thing that followed in my life. At the same time, there came a point where it wasn't working for me anymore. I just didn't really want to meditate that long, and there were things in the outside world that I was interested in. Maybe I was interested in relationship or business, making some money, creative things. And there's certain restrictions working inside kind of a non-profit organization. Everything was always kind of limited. If you wanted a new computer, it was really hard to get. And I just wanted to be creative and expansive. So the time came when I kind of left that and went into different areas of life. So back to this sort of regret about, I wish I'd done like a photography degree or something when I was younger at that time. And I actually remember that I had this Pentax SLR camera and lenses that I kind of gave away when I went into the ashram, and I sort of stopped doing my photography at that time. So looking back on it, I did what I really wanted to do. I lived the dream, and so I realized that regret's just something coming up, just something coming up in the mind, maybe some pattern kind of releasing. And also, it's just a reminder that it's all about the present moment. It's all about now. What can I create? What can I do now? And I have a plan and vision for my art, for my photography at the moment, and I'm unfolding that in vision. So instead of getting caught up in the regret, like, what am I going to do about it now? Like, if I've still got desires around photography and expressing myself as a visual artist, what am I going to do about it now? How am I going to express that? How am I going to unfold that vision now? So anyway, kind of regret is for the birds. Comparing one's life to another person's life is for the birds as well. But we probably have all indulged in it from some time. I have to say, I do feel sometimes like some envy towards artists that had this like incredible kind of focused life, and they just developed this one thing. But it's just the grass is greener, and also I'm only just seeing one aspect of it. In fact, there was an musician that I enjoy watching on YouTube, and I was reading a little bit about her career, and I was just realizing that she's dealing with some really serious kind of mental health issues from having lost most of her childhood from just practicing her music, which she didn't really have a choice. Her parents made it, and then probably also just from the pressure of also becoming well known and touring and fame and all that. So a lot of this comparison is when we compare. When we compare, what we do is we cherry pick the front-facing or the front teeth-facing part of another person's life and say, oh yeah, I'd like that part of. We'd like that life, but what we're really saying is we'd like that part of life that we're seeing that's presented to the world as being positive, fun. We're not seeing what's behind that, kind of what's under the iceberg. That's my thoughts on that. I wonder if do you have any regrets about things in your life, things you wish you'd done, and have you kind of explored those feelings, emotions, and allowed yourself to maybe release them a little, soften them a little bit. I'm very fond, actually, of a video from Matt Kahn. I think it's called Unraveling Self-Judgment, actually, and he has several steps to unraveling self-judgment, and one of them is that everything leads to the next thing, and that's kind of the conclusion when I went on this journey about thinking about I should have done photography degree, and I decided to go to the ashram instead, realizing that everything leads to the next thing, and certainly that period of my life led to one thing and the next thing, and everything I am today is because of those choices. Everything led to the next thing, and there is, I think we all understand, there's a more powerful force than just our mind intellect that's guiding us, that's giving us and presenting the experiences that, the experience we need, or the experiences that were meant to happen, or the experiences that are bringing forth, the most rapid evolution of our lives. I'd like to think of it like that anyway. So yeah, if you've had any experiences like that where you've had some deep regret, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. If you'd like to subscribe and ring the bell and all of that. Isn't it annoying when they say that in every YouTube video? Subscribe, ring the bell. Maybe I'll just stop doing it. It's not like it's going to make all the difference, is it? Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.